I'm a big believer in the idea of a big society. And I'll give you a very simple example of it. We have a business in America, in 6 states in Middle America, and the level of volunteering in our company there is enormous. It's like 5 or 6 times the level of volunteering over here. Over here we tend to discourage volunteers, not we, the system does. Health and safety, police checks, POVA checks, every sort of check. And that's true of the NHS. They don't like volunteers in their buildings, they get in the way. Whereas in America it's the complete opposite. They encourage volunteering, and it's a very good and socially meaningful thing. I also think that the sort of services we offer, we are embedded in our communities. We are a community service, and we are successful because we're respected within our communities. And that's about getting down to grassroots and getting replace big government with big society. It's a huge objective, and it's not going to be achieved overnight. But I think if you can start down that road, it's no bad thing. And I'd say I'm a big fan of the concept of social enterprise. And we've already said with parts of the NHS, primary care trusts, that we would partner with them within social enterprises. Social enterprise can still make a profit, can still pay a dividend. They're just constraints, and possibly quite reasonable constraints. Well, I think charity is incredibly important. From our company's point of view, a lot of our communities are let down by the statutory services. People can't get a motorised wheelchair from social services, they can't get their home adapted for special software if they're disabled or blind. And I think we've found over the last 10 years, the foundation is 10 years old this year, that by raising money and then dispersing it in the communities where we work, we build up a very good reputation in that community, and it's adding something back to the community. Now, one of the ways we raise money is to say to our employees, all our colleagues, 15,000 of them, that for every £1 you raise, be it a fun run or a party or a bridge tournament or anything, every £1 you raise, the company will match it with £1. And that's had a huge stimulus, and it's very good for bonding of people and getting our workforce sort of working together and playing together. Because I think playing together is a hard job, ours, looking after people, elderly people, sick people. There's got to be some fun in it. And it's just been amazing this summer. We've had a fun run that raised £8,000. We've had a bike ride that raised £9,000, all sorts of things. And it's just good for the morale of people, I think. The other charity, which really has far less to do with the company, is just something I'm involved in as an individual, is firstly working with Richard Branson in Africa. He set up some years ago a thing called the Branson School of Entrepreneurship in Johannesburg, which is actually based in the building where Nelson Mandela had his first law office before he was arrested. And it's just a wonderful setting for young Africans to learn about entrepreneurship. And so I've been down there lecturing and things like that. And along the way, Richard Branson and myself hatched the idea of actually bringing some very impoverished younger kids out of the townships and giving them a year's education over here in Britain. And we chose the school where Richard had gone to school, Stowe, where my son is at school, and Stowe, the school, was very keen to be seen to be doing charitable social work. So every year for the last 3 years we've taken 5 township children and given them a year over here. And it's worked. They all go back hugely developed as human beings, mostly playing sports they've never been offered the opportunity to do. Everything from golf to, swimming, polo, all that sort of stuff, as well as cricket and football, soccer, which they're pretty good at, and learning subjects that they wouldn't be able to do back home. I think anybody who's any good at anything, particularly if you're successful at it, be it a lawyer, an entrepreneur, anything. I think there is a duty to give back, because most of us, I mean, I was state educated in a state school, and I went to university. I was the first person in my entire family to go to university, and I wouldn't have been able to do that on funding it yourself or the family funding it. So the state funded it, and I benefited enormously. So I think you do have a responsibility to give back. I think the concept of social enterprise is a good one. Let the entrepreneur or the government institution embrace something whereby you can bring in the talents of the community, and maybe the talents that on their own couldn't do it or don't have the resource to do it, try and bring it together.